Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Rose, and on this channel we talk about online dating, age gap dating, different kinds of topics relating to relationships. And recently I came across this story right here on YouTube. You know, sometimes when I am doing something and maybe I want to be distracted while I'm doing something, I usually look for a long video and then I'll just, listen as I'm doing something. And I know I've been missing for a while. I've been missing in action here for a while, but it's because, I was going through something. And anyway, we'll talk about that later. So I came across this story, and the story was very long. It was actually in two parts. So we had to watch part one and then come back and watch part two. And it was a story of this woman. First of all, it's a Kenyan channel. I follow a few Kenyan channels here on YouTube, and this particular channel speaks in my language. It's not in English or in Swahili. So anyway, this woman was sharing a story about, first of all, she started with her, childhood, the difficulties that she faced growing up. That was the first part of the story. Now, the second part of the story was where she is right now. Currently, she's in, I would say it's a relationship, because the problem with us is when you live with a man in the same house, in this setup we call come we stay, we always refer to it as a marriage, but it's not a marriage. Like, the thing is, if you are to leave that person, if you don't have to go through the divorce process, that means it's not a marriage. Okay. So anyway, this woman goes on to say that unfortunately her man is involved in things that are making the marriage very difficult. He's an addict. Okay. He's addicted to alcohol and to other substances. Anyway, to be fair, this is actually how they met. According to the lady, this is how they met. She also used to drink and she also used to do a few things, and that's how they met. But she quit, okay? She quit, but he did not quit, and it's getting worse as the time goes by. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is that when I went to the comment section, because I also commented, if you go to that video, I think I actually left 2 comments. If you go to the comment section, because this lady said that the man is providing for her son, she came with a son. So she started living with this man and her son, and the man is, providing for the son, paying for his school fees, and of course, taking care of all the bills. So now, when I went to the comment section, most women, actually some of the women were insulting her, saying, you are a foolish woman. How can you consider leaving this man? Because in the story she was saying, I'm considering leaving him and just going and starting a new life, for me and my son, because there is no peace there. Like I'm feeling like I'm getting depressed, because once he does his thing, then he does a lot of things, and then after that he comes and apologizes and say, it was because I was high, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, and he apologizes. So now these women in the comment section, they were saying, well, how foolish can you be? Why do you want to leave your home and he's not doing anything to you? Because the host asked if this man gets physically violent, and she said, no, he has never gotten physically violent with me. It's just that, it's verbal abuse and all this. And apparently, the man has refused for this woman to work. So she doesn't work. Okay? And of course, the issue of verbal abuse, right? So now, there was this very large group of women, mainly women, who are condemning this woman and saying it's up to you to make sure that your marriage stands, and the whole quoting the Bible and saying, the wise woman builds her home with her own hands, and the foolish one destroys her home with her own hands, and all that. Now, the problem I have with this story is that a lot of us, we still don't consider other forms of abuse as abuse. Okay, we think that unless somebody beats you up, and then we can see you got broken bones, you have things to show that you are being beaten up. If he's not doing that, then you are not being abused. You are just being a foolish woman who just want to live for no reason whatsoever. So this woman, like, okay, fine, we can say, of course, when she met him, she knew that's how he was, and why did she get involved with him and all that. We all ignore a lot of red flags when you're getting in a relationship, and unfortunately we have this mentality that you can change someone. You cannot change someone. Okay. And another thing I want to say, when somebody is addicted to something, first of all, they are not themselves once they consume the substance, whether it's alcohol, whether it's whatever they are smoking. Once they consume that, they are not themselves. Because this woman kept saying, oh, he has never been violent with me. You cannot trust drugs or substances or alcohol. You cannot trust, because you don't know next weekend what he's going to do, because he is not himself. So now there was this campaign, we must save this marriage, and we must save this marriage, and we must get counselors and therapists and all these people. But the thing is, the person that you're going to get all these therapists and all these counselors for, he has not admitted he has a problem. He has not agreed that he needs help. So you're going to do all this to bring all these people to intervene, but the person maybe doesn't want to be helped. And now it has been put on this woman to save this man. There were a lot of women in the comments saying, you can pray for him, you can change him, you can make him to a good man, you can build your own home, you can build your own home on your knees. My friends, there's this lady, it was a Nigerian gospel minister, a gospel singer in Nigeria. Her name was Osinachi. I don't remember her first name, but her name has always stuck with me. I actually didn't even know her music before she died. Okay? And that woman spent her time, I would think she spent her time on her knees, praying for, I suppose, for the marriage, trying to build her home with her own bare hands. She's no longer with us. She left 4 children without a mother. And then the man who took her life went to prison. So the children were left with nobody. So this whole thing of looking at women who are going through emotional, financial, mental abuse, and then we just brush it off and we are like, no, as long as he's not beating you up, there is nothing to break your marriage for. This is wrong. And this is what is killing a lot of women and men, because men also are going through things. Because we don't want to look at that, and we don't want to call it for what it is. It is abuse. And we have the audacity to sit there and call this woman foolish and call her, they were saying that it's like she's gotten it so good that now she's taking it for granted. What is it that she's getting so good? The thing is, having a nice house, and having food and clothes and having all those things, and you have no peace, those things mean nothing. Ask me. Go and see my story. It's here on my channel. It's on Lynn Ngugi. Go and watch it. It means nothing. Everything has to be, it all has to work. You need to have peace. Yes, of course, shelter, food, clothes, everything that you need, but also you need to have peace. So I feel like there are so many women who cannot speak up because their abuse will not be taken seriously. This woman, I watched her and I'm like, my goodness, she even, she was hiding her identity because, of course, she hasn't decided really if she's going to leave or not. But I'm like, why are we pushing her to stay? Why are we pushing her to be the one to save this man? Listen, when it comes to addiction, you cannot change somebody. You cannot pull them out of that addiction. You cannot pray it away. You cannot wish it away. You cannot even love him out of it. You cannot. It's not gonna work. Sometimes you even have to love them from a distance. Yes, you love them, but you cannot put yourself in harm's way because you are there and this marriage must work and it must work and we must do whatever it takes and it must work. The next thing we are going to, and God forbid, the next thing you hear is that person has gone and they have taken whatever they are taking and then they have taken the life of that woman and that child. Then what are you going to say? Oh, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she say anything? Why was she there? Why didn't she take action? Please, abuse is abuse. And unfortunately, when it comes to emotional and mental abuse, you have nothing to show. Okay, you have nothing to show. You cannot say, oh, look, my arm is broken. Oh, look at my eye. Look at this. You have nothing to show. But inside you're broken. And this is why you find people, they're taking their children's lives and themselves, they just take their life, and then you're like, why did they do that? Nobody was beating them up. Like, why did they do that? Because it's not broken here where you can see, but inside it's broken. And this really pissed me off, because I'm like, why are we pushing this woman to keep staying there, saying, oh, she's got a nice house, he's paying rent, and he's got a car, and he's paying the child's school fees. Therefore, she should stay there. Stay there and save your marriage. We must save this marriage. We must save it. We must save it. Why? Why? Like, we need to normalize living, guys. We need to normalize living. We need to normalize putting yourself first and putting your mental health first. Okay? Because this woman, even if she stays there for the sake of the child, because they say because the man is paying for school fees, even if she stays there, that child can see that the mother is not okay. And it's going to affect the child's mental health as well. So what good are you doing to that child? Do you know how many children have come back after they have grown up and they've been in these toxic families, and they grow up, they're like, I wish my mom would have left, even if we had to go to bad schools, if we didn't get the opportunity to go to those private schools and all that. I wish my mom had left. And there was somebody in the comment section saying, oh, of course you should stay. Alcohol is nothing. A lot of families, people take alcohol. I saw my father, he used to drink until he went to the toilet on himself, and my mother used to clean him up. Is that something to be proud of? My mother used to clean him up and she never left. She just stayed and she stayed. I'm like, okay, so is there an award for self-hate? Because that's what it is. So you stay there, he goes, he drinks, he comes, he beats you up, he does things on himself, you clean him up, you give him food, then he goes, he does the same. Listen, guys, addiction needs professional help. And you as a wife, you are not a therapist, you are not a drug counselor, you don't know what to do. Therefore, you cannot change him. As I said, even praying, you have to pray while you are away. You have to go and pray from a distance. You have to love him from a distance. Because the next thing that is going to happen, you're going to need those therapists for your peace of mind, because you're going to start losing it. So what good are you doing to your children and to yourself? If somebody is an addict, they have to make a decision themselves. They have, first of all, to acknowledge that they have a problem. Like, the biggest step an addict can take is to admit that they have a problem. But if they keep saying they don't have a problem, I don't have a problem, I don't have a problem, my sister, you can pray, you can cry, you can try to love him, respect him. I saw those women who are saying, you just have to love him and respect him, and he's going to change. He's not going to change. He's not. Until he makes a decision, if he can see the problem and then he makes a decision to change, then you guys can go for help, you can go for therapy, you can go for all those meetings, you can do all that. But before then, you can even bring those counselors to the house and he will refuse to speak to them. So, I felt so sad listening to that story, because... And I felt so sad how the woman was being judged, okay? I mean, like, she was being judged like, oh, why do you want to leave? Why are you planning? Are you supposed to leave, or are you supposed to help him? You're supposed to save him. You're supposed to help him get better. How is she going to help him get better? She's not a doctor. She's not a doctor. But now this burden has been put on her. You see, she was also doing the same. Wasn't she drinking? She was drinking. She said she was drinking. She was doing that whole mogoka stuff, the things they chew and all that, all those things they do. But she decided to quit. Herself, she just decided to quit. Even as the man is doing it and he's doing it in the house, she's not doing it because she made a decision to quit. So until he can make a decision to quit, we are just putting this woman in danger by pushing her to stay there and stay there. She's in danger. Because she said once he takes those things and he drinks and he does that, then he's not the same person. Of course, he's not the same person. And another thing is the way he keeps tormenting her and terrorizing her and telling her whenever he goes for a business trip, then he has to call at 2 o'clock in the morning and tell her to put on a video call and then put the phone under the bed and in the closets and everywhere to make sure there is nobody in the house. What kind of life is that? I mean, if you're living with somebody who you cannot trust that you can go on a business meeting and they will not bring somebody in the house, then what kind of life is that? Are they going to live like that now for those 30 years? Because it was said that this marriage must stand and she's going to come back in 30 years and give a testimony how she fought for her marriage. So that's the life she's going to have for the next 30 years. What kind of life is that you're wishing on your sister? I would not wish that kind of life on anyone because I have gone through it and it's hell. It's hell. I reached to a point where my life meant nothing because you have no peace. You are just going insane. And that's what we are wishing on another woman. Why? Because marriage is so important. We must hold on to it and die there. We cannot live. We must die there. For what? Now, come on, guys. Choose yourself. Let's normalize choosing yourself. Just, for me, if I was advising that lady, I would say just work on your exit plan where you're going to go with your son and just, work on that. And when it's ready, just leave. Just leave. And then when he's ready to seek help, he can seek help. And then that's it. Because in 2025, I felt so sad that we are talking like that because we have lost so many women. A lot of women have lost their lives because of this mental, financial, and emotional abuse that they cannot talk about because they have no evidence. That's the thing. You want somebody to be beaten up so you can see evidence. Then you can say that there is something that now we can talk about. If you are not okay here, if you're not at peace, nothing is gonna work out. Nothing is gonna work out. Even that food you're not gonna be enjoying. It's, does he buy you food? They were making a list. Does he buy you food? Yes, he does. Does he pay the rent? Yes. We have never gone without the rent being paid. Does he pay for your child's school fees? Yes. Does he buy you clothes? Yes. So what is the problem? Why do you want to leave your marriage? My friends, there are so many other things that go on in these marriages. So many other things. There are other forms of violence that goes on. There are people who are just even going to do things in bed with these men that they are living with and they don't want to do it and they do it and they have no evidence to show. They are being abused. They are being body shamed in marriages. They are being, their self-esteem is going to be dropped all the way to the floor. But no, we must stay there. As long as you are not getting beaten up, there is nothing for you to shout about. You're just being foolish. It's so sad, guys. And we even see this with this interracial dating and all these online dating. You see somebody and you see a red flag and then you're like, oh no, it's okay. Okay, so he's body shaming me, but he's not beating me up, so that's okay. Oh, he's saying this about my family and about my culture, but that is okay. He's not beating me up. And then people end up in trouble. Choose you. Always choose you. My name is Rose. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel today. I know I haven't been I haven't been posting, but maybe I will come with another video to tell you why. But this one I had to make it now because I'm fired up and I had to talk about this. Thank you so much. Please, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. If you found this video useful, please share it with a friend. Give it a thumbs up, and I shall see you on my next one. Bye bye for now.